Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online Regulation H VGC ladder in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and provide live commentary as I go. In this video, I'm going to be featuring one of the most underrated Pokemon that I've tried so far in Regulation H, and it's in Frosmoth. Frosmoth has basically seen no usage in this format, but recently a Japanese player ended up finishing 19th at the end of the November rank season with this composition. Frosmoth is a really bulky Pokemon, and after a couple of Quiver Dances, it can deal massive amounts of damage with Blizzard as well as Water Terra Blast. To support Frosmoth, you've got double Fake Out support from Incineroar and Rillaboom, Intimidate from Incineroar, Rage Powder Will-O-Wisp, and Struggle Bug support from Volcarona, as well as Aurora Veil and Snow from Alolan Ninetales. I've really been impressed by this Pokemon, and it's something that people just don't generally expect to run into, and I think when supported properly, it can be absolutely incredible. As always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps down below, and thanks so much as always for joining me. If you enjoy, I'd really appreciate if you consider leaving a like in the video or subscribing to the channel. It really helps out a ton. If you're interested in trying out the team, the rental code is on the screen, and there's also an accompanying Pokepaste down in the description below. This team revolves heavily around enabling Frosmoth with Quiver Dance, and you've got double Fake Out support from Incineroar and Rillaboom, Alolan Ninetales with the Aurora Veil as well as Snow and Icy Wind, and a Volcarona with Struggle Bug, Rage Powder, as well as Will-O-Wisp. Frosmoth can really start demolishing teams after getting a couple of Quiver Dances off, and Water, Terra Blast, and Blizzard allows for a lot of good offensive potential. You've also got some good offense from Pokemon like Garchomp, as well as Alolan Ninetales and Rillaboom, which is max attack, but Frosmoth generally is going to be the carry from most of your games. For some quick context, Frosmoth sees basically no usage in Regulation H. Its usage percentage is 0% here on Pikalytics. It's actually 0.23%, but basically it's a Pokemon that no one's really brought to a major tournament so far this season, and even the most popular set here with Quiver Dance, Protect, Terra Blast, and Dazzling Gleam is not one that we're using. Blizzard actually only sees 11% usage on this Pokemon, but so few people use Frosmoth to begin with that it is just super under the radar. As I mentioned, this team was created by a Japanese player who ended up finishing 19th at the end of the November ranked season on the in-game ladder with this composition specifically. To finish high up in the ladder in general is really difficult, and to be in the top 30 at the end of the season in particular is really impressive, and to do it with Frosmoth in particular is even more impressive. So this definitely caught my eye when I was looking at the top compositions from the end of the November season. By the way, if you're interested in seeing some of the other teams from the top 30 at the end of the November rank season, Liberty Note, which is a Japanese website, compiles all the information from people that published their 6 Pokemon and links to any potential rental teams if people include it. And so this rank season had a bunch of different interesting compositions that ended up on top, including an Espathra plus Choice Band Ursaluna team, a Sableye here in 8th place, as well as Kilowattrel in 15th place, and of course the team that we're featuring here in 19th place overall. Frosmoth just has seen such little play that I was already excited to try it out, but to see it be on such a high ranking team shows that it's obviously very impressive and well built. Breaking down the individual sets, the first one to highlight is Frosmoth. By the way, question of the day, I think Frosmoth is one of the most underrated Pokemon in Regulation H, given that no one's really been using it and it's felt really strong since I've tried this team. So I'm curious what other Pokemon you think people are sleeping on in Regulation H and which ones I should try out before we wrap up the format. Now, Frosmoth is a Pokemon that people just don't have much experience fighting against, and I find that people often underrate this Pokemon and don't know exactly how much damage they'll do to it. Ice Skills is an incredible ability because it means that you only take half damage from special attacks, and that's really valuable in a format that has so many special attackers like Archaludon, Goldengo, as well as Ursaluna Bloodmoon. As a result, the Frosmoth is really physically defensive with max HP and near max defense investment here. You have very little special attack and speed investment, so keep that in mind because you'll often want to click Quiver Dance multiple times with this Pokemon. It's not uncommon for you to go for example, 3 Quiver Dances in just one game alone, and when Frosmoth hits the field, it often just kind of stays on the field and doesn't leave until your opponent knocks you out, right? So you often lead this Pokemon and it just basically never really faints if you support it properly. Blizzard does a ton of damage. Obviously, you're going to want Alolan Ninetales to set up the snow for it. Terra Blast is really valuable. You're often water tearing this Pokemon, which is both good defensively and offensively. Good defensively to allow you to resist, for example, steel type attacks, and it's good offensively to hit fire type Pokemon. You also have Wide Guard on this set, which I think often can win you games because your opponent just doesn't really expect to see it. Wide Guard is really nice in order for you to prevent spread moves and also allow for some defensive switches on this team. Keep in mind that because you have such little special attack and speed investment, you'll need often multiple Quiver Dances, for example, to outpace your opponent's Pokemon, and multiple Quiver Dances to actually get one-hit knockouts. Blizzard is a pretty strong move, but obviously with low special attack investment and with it being a spread move, it will actually rarely get one-hit KOs unless you have gotten multiple special attack boosts. But generally, the idea behind this Frosmoth is you'll often want to lead it, and it just basically stays on the field, and you have double Fake Out cycling from Incineroar and Rillaboom, as well as Volcarona here with Will-O-Wisp, Struggle Bug, and Rage Powder. Volcarona is actually one of the most common leads with the Frosmoth here, and you are mainly going to want to use it to disrupt your opponent and weaken them while Frosmoth sets up. So for example, with Volcarona Frosmoth, you can go for a Rage Powder and then Quiver Dance. You can go for Struggle Bug into Quiver Dance or Will-O-Wisp into Quiver Dance. The idea is that Volcarona here will be able to ideally shut down at least one of your opponent's Pokemon and give Frosmoth a couple of free turns to get going. It's really defensive here as well, basically the same spread as the Frosmoth here, and you are very physically invested. One of the things to keep in mind, though, is because you are not running much speed investment, Volcarona will be slower than some Pokemon that are in, for example, the slightly slower speed tier range. And so Dragonite, for example, is a Pokemon that if you had more speed investment, you would be outpacing, but Dragonite will outspeed you. So just keep that in mind because obviously you're going to be vulnerable to Scale Shot, although this is such a defensive Volcarona. But Volcarona Frosmoth, really effective lead. You're not going to get that much damage early with it, but the idea is to just start pushing the tempo and start setting up with Frosmoth. Alola Ninetales here is really nice offensively, and of course can enable Frosmoth by setting up the Snow through its ability and setting up Aurora Veil. The set's also pretty interesting because you've got Life Orb, and you're not actually running Blizzard. It's Freeze Dry, Icy Wind, Moonblast, and Aurora Veil. I find that Freeze Dry and Moonblast are really valuable for just burst damage, and Icy Wind gives you speed control rather than Blizzard, which of course will do a little bit more damage. So I think you can probably throw Blizzard onto this set, but Icy Wind is nice because you can just drop your opponent's speed and then let Frosmoth be able to outpace your opponent, for example. And so the Ninetales here really designed to, of course, mainly enable the Frosmoth by setting up Snow, but Aurora Veil also just a really good move. And if you set up Aurora Veil for this Frosmoth, it is so difficult to knock out. To round out the team, you've got double Fake Out cycling from Incineroar as well as Rillaboom. Really straightforward sets here, not much to say other than that. One of the things that I like about this team is it goes to show that you don't need the most complicated EV spreads. Everything is basically 252, 252. Frosmoth and Volcarona have like a little bit of investment in the others as well as Ninetales, but basically there's nothing super complicated about these EV spreads. This Incineroar is just max HP, max special defense, and the idea, of course, is to use it for Intimidate and Fake Out cycling and Parting Shot. Rillaboom here is really nice because obviously you have a lot of offense from it with Woodhammer, with Grassy Terrain as well as Fake Out, but setting up the terrain is actually often so valuable for Frosmoth because this thing just heals up so quickly with leftovers as well as the Grassy Terrain from Rillaboom. So you often want to think about bringing Rillaboom just for the Grassy Terrain. Having that to enable Frosmoth makes this just 10 times more difficult to knock out in my experience. Garchomp is the final Pokemon on this team, and it is a really nice Pokemon to round things out. It's a set that has actually some unique moves in Breaking Swipe as well as Rock Slide, rather than, for example, Dragon Claw or Earthquake, and you've got Clear Amulet here. The idea behind this Garchomp is you're not really going to pick up one-hit knockouts, but that's okay. You do a lot of damage consistently. Breaking Swipe is really nice in dropping your opponent's attack, and Rock Slide is really valuable in hitting things like Volcarona for super effective damage. I think a lot of people actually don't expect Rock Slide that often on Garchomps these days because so many people are using Dragon Claw, Earthquake, Stomping Tantrum, and Protect that you can actually catch your opponents off guard with this move. It's valuable into Volcarona and Charizard, both which are meta Pokemon right now. The Garchomp here is going to be one of the more offensive tools that you have on this team, and so you can use it to burst your opponent down. For example, getting a Stomping Tantrum into an Archaludon to do over 50% is really valuable, Rock Slide into things that are super effective, and Breaking Swipe to drop your opponent's attack. In terms of ways to play with the team, the creator mentioned that if they see multiple special attackers on their opponent's team, for example, 3 or more, Frosmoth is almost always coming out because Frosmoth can just completely wall those special attackers and make them feel really useless. If your opponent's team, however, is very physically oriented, for example, they have 5 or 6 physical Pokemon, then you might actually want to think about dropping Frosmoth because obviously even with max HP, max defense, and Intimidate and Will-O-Wisp support, you just don't love going up against physical attackers because you don't get value out of your ability, right? So this Pokemon is incredible if your opponent has multiple strong carry special attackers, and so in those matchups you'll definitely want to bring it, but if they have a lot of physical attackers, then there's a good argument to, for example, drop Frosmoth. In terms of leads, Volcarona Frosmoth, really effective. One of the fake out users plus Frosmoth, also effective. Ninetales and Frosmoth, all effective as well. I often do find myself leading Frosmoth a ton because it just applies so much pressure if you're able to get a couple Quiver Dances early. Whereas if you have it in the back, you have to position it properly, and it might be a little bit tougher for it to get going. Because normally you're not just going to be clicking Blizzard and Terra Blast immediately. You're almost always going to want to set up with Quiver Dance before going for damage. But leading Frosmoth with any of those Pokemon I mentioned are all really valuable. If you want some more offense immediately, Garchomp plus Frosmoth, for example, is good. Garchomp Ninetales is probably the most offensive duel that you can lead with this team, and Incineroar with Garchomp allows you to go for Fake Out, for example, plus Breaking Swipe if you want to drop your opponent's attack early, then bring out Frosmoth afterwards. But those are just a couple of modes on how you can play with the team. The team creator actually also wrote a team report for it, so I'll link it down in the description below, and they mentioned some other combinations that you can go with. In terms of weaknesses, Frosmoth definitely has to worry about a couple of things. First of all, if you have Pokemon that resist both water as well as ice type attacks, specifically water type Pokemon, it can be really annoying. Status conditions such as falling asleep from an Amoonguss Spore or a Dondozo Yawn can be really tricky, and even just, for example, burning it or poisoning can obviously reduce the amount of recovery that you have and basically neutralize it. Haze is really annoying. If your opponent is able to haze you after you set up multiple Quiver Dances, that can feel really, really bad. And Taunt can also stop it from being able to set up. There are a fair amount of things that obviously this Pokemon does not like going up against, so you do have to be very careful, right? You also have to worry about just a lot of physical damage immediately. If your opponent is able to burst down Frosmoth before you're able to get that first Quiver Dance off, that can be really scary as well. And Wide Guard is a huge nuisance for Blizzard specifically. So those are all a couple of things that you'll want to note. This team obviously has a lot of fake out cycling as well with Instant and Rillaboom, so being able to stop that fake out cycling from things that block priority, like Farigiraf or Psychic Terrain, for example, can be a little bit annoying. The team creator mentioned that Dondozo Tatsugiri can be annoying to fight against because you don't have Haze or Clear Smog on this team. Annihilate, I found, can be really difficult because this team normally wants to have a couple turns to get going, but if you have Beat Up with Annihilate or another way to stack up the Rage Fist, Annihilate can just start Rage Fisting everything, and it can be really tough. If they're Fire Terra, it also means that Will-O-Wisp just is not going to do anything into them, and that's really scary as well. So yeah, Dondozo plus Tatsu, Annihilate, and then Ursaluna, the team creator mentioned, can be a little bit scary as well, just because it can do so much damage, but you do have a good amount of defense into it, whether it be Intimidate, double Fake Out support, Rillaboom for Woodhammer, or Ice type damage. And so those are just a couple of things to note. I think obviously with Frosmoth, you're also vulnerable to missing Blizzard if the snow is not up. So it often means that you need to bring both Ninetales and Frosmoth, but obviously these don't love going up against fire type attacks and rock type attacks and steel type attacks. Opposing weather like Tyranitar, for example, can be really annoying. Rock in general is able to hit 4 of the 6 for super effective, and so a well-positioned Pokemon that's able to, for example, click Rock Slide consistently can be scary. And then manual weather to override the snow, like a sunny day from something, can be tough as well because, yeah, Frosmoth just does not want to be clicking Blizzard unless the snow is up because it's just so unreliable with only 70% accuracy. So those are just a couple of things that I wanted to point out. Alright, we've got our Archaludon, Pelipper, Porygon, Ursaluna, Volcarona, Grimmsnarl. Grim is a little bit spooky. We've got a good number of special attackers here. It's only Ursaluna that's a physical attacker. And Grimmsnarl to some extent. Normally it's running Foul Play or Spirit Break. So against Ursa, I probably would like to Intimidate it, flinch it, set up Snow. They've got the Pelipper. Normally the go-to lead is like Volcarona plus Frosmoth because you can go for Struggle Bugs. This might be a support Volcarona from their end. Grim Volt could be kind of an annoying lead. Part of me wants Garchomp for offense in this one. Okay, I'm thinking Frosmoth, Garchomp, Ninetales, Incin. I do find the Intimidate into Ursaluna valuable enough to bring. So, let's see. I don't love bringing my Volcarona because Will-O-Wisp is not really relevant. Struggle Bug is not a bad attack to go for, but it also is just really slow paced. And I think I need a little bit more damage in this game. If I go all in on Frosmoth, for example, Frosmoth, Volk, Ninetales, a little bit worried about limiting my damage output. It's going to be Volt Grimmsnarl. So this could be Struggle Bug. It could just be Heat Wave. The idea behind leading Garchomp here is I pressure with Rock Slide immediately. So I think turn 1, I'm down to go for Quiver Dance and Rock Slide. Yeah, the whole point of bringing Garchomp was to deal with this lead, so I'm happy to see Volk being led immediately. I think another possible play was Rock Slide, Water Terra, Terra Blast, Volcarona immediately, and try to just get rid of it. Okay, Grimmsnarl sets up Reflect. Curious if they Heat Wave, Struggle Bug. We'll find out after the Rock Slide. That still deals over 50%, which is huge. And they should just go for a Will-O-Wisp onto us, which I don't mind. Okay. With this, I will be able to Quiver Dance up. Nice. Okay. Let's see if it's Covert Cloak or lefties on Volk. No lefties. Should be Covert Cloak. Normally it's going to be support-oriented Volk on these kind of teams. I've got Incin as a switch in. I could Rock Slide again. I'm thinking about just Quiver Dancing again right now. Quiver Dance again and Rock Slide. Yeah, I'm down. I don't necessarily want to commit my Terra quite yet. We actually force a Volk switch, which I'm happy with, into our Chaladon. Okay. So right now, I think Ninetales is positioned quite nicely. Grimmsnarl actually reveals Taunt, so we'll be able to stop our damage output, or our Quiver Dancing, which is a good play by them. Actually missed Rock Slide on our Chaladon, which works in our favor. This means that it probably should be Pelipper as their fourth, right? Which I don't mind. I could see a Pelipper switch in right now. Ice Scales is obviously already quite good for us. I'm happy to just Blizzard right now. Switch in Ninetales. They probably want a Light Screen here. I think Light Screen here makes sense, and then I think you probably want to pivot in Pelipper. And so Grim having Taunt is also interesting because the question is, what move did you drop? Foul Play, Thunder Wave. Oh, they don't go for Light Screen here, so I get Blizzard off. It does a ton to both. Nice. And they Draco into what is now Ninetales. Beautiful. Spirit Break. Okay, fine by me. Yeah, and the Snow does not do very much. It does drop our special attack critically, though. So it's Spirit Break, Taunt, Reflect, Light Screen, presumably. So this turn you would think they Light Screen. I could also just see a switch it into Pelipper right now. I'm just going to Blizzard again, though. There is the debate about Terrying here so I don't get hit by a Flash Cannon. I could also just switch out. But if they switch in Pelipper, I can obviously miss my Blizzard, which is scary. I definitely want a Blizzard here. I think I'm down to Blizzard and switch in Incin right now. They might just Light Screen here as well, which is fine. Then I could have played maybe a little bit more offensively, but we'll bring out Incineroar. And you can see Frosmoth just like does not take that much damage, right? Which is huge. Yeah, so they do set up Light Screen now. Okay, so the Grimmsnarl side is actually pretty annoying for us because they're able to reduce our damage pretty significantly, but still fine. Blizzard comes out, stamina boost. Okay, they just Flash Cannon into us here. You can see with our ability and with the Quiver Dance, that is not a lot of damage. Okay, very nice. One thing to note, though, is that the body presses are obviously now going to stack up from this, which is a little bit scary. This turn, I can Quiver Dance and Fake Out into Grimmsnarl. Now let the Taunt has worn off. Stacking up these special defense boosts is always valuable. Our Chaladon actually switches, giving up the defense boost. Okay, into Pelipper. Works for me. And with my opponent not bringing Ursaluna out into this match, it's so nice for Frosmoth. There's Fake Out. Doesn't KO the Grimmsnarl. That's fine. They're going to flinch. Honestly, them not being able to Thunder Wave us is a pretty big deal. So Frosmoth happy to just get another Quiver Dance up right now. Beautiful. And at this point, their damage into Frosmoth is really lacking, so we're in pretty good shape as we continue to heal back from leftovers. My main question is whether or not they have Wide Guard right now with the Pelipper, but +1 special attack, Light Screen is set up. I am happy to just now Blizzard and then switch back out into Ninetales. The whole point of bringing the Ninetales, of course, is to enable the weather. So Pelly switches out maybe into Volk now. That makes sense. Okay. So Volk's not going to take a ton of damage, but it's also fine because it can't really heal itself. No leftovers, no citrus. So every little bit of chip damage matters. They might taunt into Frosmoth again here. Yep, that's fine. We are just going to attack here. And if you switch in Pelipper, now I can Water Terror and just Terra Blast the Volcarona, which is cool. Sweet. So Grim Faints. I have Aurora Veil pressure. If you bring out our Chaladon here. Yeah, our Chaladon's not really that threatening without any boosts right now. So let's see what they want to bring out. Pelipper, cool. I've got Freeze Drive for you. I think with this, I'm happy to just go for Water Terra. Terra Blast into you. And Freeze Dry into you. And they stay in with Volk. Great. I was mainly worried that they, like, protect Pelipper, switch Volk out. I guess Volk could Terra here, theoretically, but yeah. Water Terra plus Freeze Dry should be really powerful here. I also thought about switching Ninetales, because the idea is if I get the knockout onto Volcarona, then I win the Weather War immediately, but... like, I'm still not really that threatened by them, right? Terra Blast comes out. Beautiful. Finishes off the Volcarona. And we'll bring Pelly down to Sash with Freeze Dry. Wonderful. Beautiful. Okay. Activates the Focus Sash. And they're going to set up a Tailwind. Okay. Good Tailwind by them. I don't... like, the question is, how much do we think Electroshock plus Hurricane does into our Frosmoth right now? I can also stay in with Ninetales and Icy Wind with it. I actually don't think that's a terrible idea. What's the alternative? Like, you could Flash Cannon into this. I could switch this out into Incin. Fake Out will finish this off. We are at +2 speed right now, but they've matched our Tailwind. Okay, I don't mind going for Terra Blast here and Icy Wind. Okay, they just Hurricane into Ninetales, which I would think we survive. Yep. Those confuse us, but I don't think Electroshot's KOing us. Okay. You get your special attack boost. Into Frosmoth, +1. We have +2 special defense and our ability. That did 56 damage as a +1 super effective attack. As we finish off Pelipper. Wow, that's nuts. Okay. Let's see if we attack through Confusion here. We do. Got our Icy Wind off. Nice. Drop your speed. Cool. And the defense boosts I don't really care for. Life 4 damage. Leftovers. So we'll be able to definitely survive another Electroshot right now as well. The taunt wears off. Perfect. No more Reflect either. 2 turns of Tailwind, 3 turns of Light Screen. I am happy to just Terra Blast into our Chaladon right now and then switch into Garchomp. And our Chaladon just cannot pull a 1v4 right now, especially with no way to heal itself. So the good thing in this game is my opponent didn't have a ton of damage output. I'm also going for Terra Blast here just because it's 100% accurate, boosted by the rain as well. We'll do decent damage. Well, a little bit less, actually, than I would have expected, given the boost that we have. But they're just going to Body Press into us, and that is not going to KO us either. Cool. Okay. So we heal back up. And now I can just pivot Ninetales back in and get a single target Blizzard off into them. So Blizzard into you, and switch Ninetales back in. Yeah, and they recognize there's not much they can do. So I think the main thing in this game was that my opponent did not have a lot of offense from anything other than our Chaladon. And Frosmoth, even though we ran into Light Screen and Taunt, it was still fine because like Rockslide was able to get a lot of chip damage on the early game. The critical turn was when they didn't set up that Light Screen immediately with Grimmsnarl, so that first Blizzard we got off with Frosmoth just did a ton of damage. So yeah, they were able to taunt me, yeah, they were able to set up screens, but they were never really threatening me with that much damage, right? And even though they were able to decrease my special attack with Spirit Break as well as setting up Light Screen, I was still able to have those special defense boosts, so their offense in our Chaladon and Pelipper was just not very scary either. So this game really highlights just how bulky Frosmoth can be. It doesn't really mind playing these long drawn out games because it can just soak up so much damage. Ooh, okay. We have Trick Room and potential Tailwind here. The Sneasler plus Torkoal, NDD Armors, Dragonite, Ursaluna. This 6 was a popular team from Japan. It got second at the end of one of the ranked seasons, and it has Tailwind Dragonite, which is really scary. I think Tailwind Dragonite Ursaluna with Torkoal plus Logan in the back is what we should probably be respecting the most. Frosmoth can obviously soak up an attack. I'm thinking of leading Ninetales Frosmoth, honestly, because we have Icy Wind Pressure, which is cool. They can bring out Torkoal, but then I can Quiver Dance in front of that, and then Water Terra. So Ninetales Frosmoth immediately to deal with Dragonite Ursaluna, potentially as a lead from them. Normally, it'd be Volk plus Frosmoth, but the problem with this is they can just Tailwind and then Blood Moon me, which is really scary. Incin is not a bad switch in. Rilla seems kind of counterintuitive here. Garchomp's a good resist and can do decent damage, so I probably want this. And I'm thinking Incin here. It could be back Volk for Rage Powder as well. I'm mainly thinking Incin, though, is a Torkoal Lilligant answer. And I can also switch into NDD Armors with this. So let's see. It's like kind of weird to go with Ninetales plus the Frosmoth immediately. This is also vulnerable to Torkoal Lilligant lead. Because I would set up the snow and then they would override it with the sun. I have just played against the same 6 before and they led with Dragonite Ursaluna. I went Volk Frosmoth. It didn't work out very well for me. Lilligant plus the Ursaluna. Interesting. Okay. Torkoal switch in here feels imminent. Could just normal Terra and then like blow something up with Blood Moon. I don't want to click Aurora Veil. I think Icy Wind is interesting. I'm leaning towards Icy Wind Quiver Dance turn 1. But the other part of me is like maybe I should just be attacking. But I do think getting a boost on this is valuable. Yeah, they switch. So Torkoal comes out now. I don't mind that too much, honestly. Okay. It is just going to be Sleep Powder onto the Ninetales. Alright. So we'll burn a turn of sleep immediately, and I'll get Quiver Dance up. Now, though, you can go Pressure Sleep Powder into Torkoal after you Eruption is scary. I think I want to switch an Incin here. Water Terra. Terra Blast. Yeah, I think sleep is just a little bit scary to go up against, especially fast sleep like my opponent has. I'd be very happy to see after you Eruption this turn if they went for that over. But I think they probably just launched Sleep Powder into my Frosmoth as well. If I had Rillaboom turn 1, I could have read that they were going to switch in Torkoal and switch Rilla in for Ninetales, but... Oh, they go for close combat. Okay. I don't mind that as much. Still does a lot of damage, though, as you can see. But I'll get Terra Blast off. Okay. It's really good damage, honestly. And Eruption comes out. Okay, cool. This next turn, Fake Out plus Blizzard is kind of an obvious play for me to make. I have to worry about this Leaf Blading me now, obviously. This could also Ghost Terra, which I think is something we definitely need to be respecting. I almost am thinking about switching Frosmoth out. Oh, you know, I could switch this out into Garchomp to eat up Rough Skin and then knock out Lilligant. I'm really interested in that. Flare Blitz into you and then actually switch into Garchomp. It'll look silly if they just end up protecting Lilligant, though, because I could have just attacked here. But let's see. This would be such a cool play to make. Okay, Torkoal switches. That's fine. The dream would be Ghost Terror right now. Dragonite comes out. Okay, so Dragonite's their last one. Ghost Terra? Show me Ghost Terra, and then show me the knockout on the Leaf Blade into Garchomp. Okay. I'm still worried, though, because I need to get through this endgame, and Ninetales is only taking 1 turn to sleep, but... Sweet. That was what I was hoping for. Awesome. That was a really cool play. Okay, good. The question is, where do we go from here? I get Garchomp out. Breaking Swipe is pretty darn good here, but you can bring out Ursaluna now and Tailwind, which is my problem. Yeah, it's a very free Tailwind and Blood Moon or Hyper Voice right now. Or Earth Power. This is definitely Tailwinding, so it's a question of what this is going for. I want a Parting Shot into... I'm thinking about Rock Sliding, actually, because a flinch chance would be a really big deal, like getting a flinch onto either. But dropping the attack of this would be kind of nice. I'm going for Breaking Swipe instead. Okay. So I assume it's Tailwind right now. Oh, it's just Scale Shot. I guess they could just Scale Shot plus Earth Power. But no Tailwind this turn, honestly, I don't mind. Okay. I could have switched Instant out this turn into Ninetales, though, maybe. Let's see if they went for Hyper Voice or Earth Power. It could just be a Blood Moon as well. Oh, I see. This way you get a faster Tailwind this next turn. That's really smart. They are going to commit Blood Moon here, though. And I survive. Whoa. That's a clutch survival. Okay. Yeah, them going for that instead of the Earth Power is a big deal. Because now I'm able to Parting Shot. Okay. This game is pretty intense. Parting Shot. Dragonite's guard attack is -1. I can bring out Frosmoth now. I should be able to survive Hyper Voice. -1 Hyper Voice plus Scale Shot, I think. So I bring you out. And then I can bring out Ninetales or Instant here. Instant gives me Fake Out pressure. I think they should be switching out into Torkoal and Tailwinding right now, if you're my opponent. Okay, I'm gonna bring out Instant. This turn is really interesting. Like, obviously I can just switch in and Blizzard both of these right now. This is that -1 special attack. You can Earth Power, and this can Scale Shot. Both of these can obviously protect. If I were them, I would protect Dragonite and switch Ursaluna out into Torkoal. What I want to do is not get a knockout onto Torkoal. I think here I actually want to Quiver Dance. Fake Out into Dragonite. Oh, they didn't switch. Okay. Just Hyper Voice? Yeah. We survived though. Okay. Oh my goodness. That could have just been a Blizzard this turn, but it would be a Blizzard obviously outside of snow. But now I do get the Quiver Dance off. Sunlight fades. Dragonite is still faster here though, because of that Scale Shot. You can Tailwind, but then I don't even think a Blood Moon KOs this with the special defense boost. So I want a Blizzard here, switch into Ninetales. This is it. This is the big turn of the game. They can also Scale Shot onto my Frosmoth, but you're at -2 attack, and then I should outpace your Ursaluna with that Quiver Dance speed boost since they never Tailwinded. So I think you can either Tailwind here, or you can Scale Shot, but you can't go for both. Okay, yeah, they're going Tailwind Blood Moon, so let's see. Can Frosmoth survive this? Oh, they just Hyper Voice. It did nothing. Sweet. Let's go, Frosmoth. Gets the double knockout. This thing is such a defensive tank. I think Incin being able to hang on from that Blood Moon, though, was a really big deal. And them clicking Blood Moon over Earth Power there ended up punishing them a lot. So now you set up Tailwind, but your last one is Torkoal. And Torkoal cannot really do much into Frosmoth. Frosmoth was so sick in this one. But I thought it'd be a little bit more intense because like, they have to go for Blood Moon. But with us having the special defense boost and our ability, I think Frosmoth just tanks that anyway. Yeah, so you can Terra Blast into you now. And just burn a turn to sleep here. Wait for the free switch into Incin. I might just wake up here as well. Yeah, my opponent ends up forfeiting. Torkoal can't pull off a 1v3 since it's just slower than everything. And it's already had its damage output significantly reduced. So Frosmoth, yeah, was just incredible for us on this one. Being able to thread in with a lot of damage early on onto that Torkoal, so Eruption was a lot less scary, and then finding this position where I've got the Quiver Dance up and then can just Blizzard to end the game. Yeah, the main thing is I could have like switched in Ninetales and Thread in Blizzard, but if I switched in Ninetales immediately, I think if you're my opponent, you just protect Dragonite, bring out Torkoal, and then set up Tailwind, and then Ursaluna Blood Moon comes out later. With Incin plus the Frosmoth, I knew I had a guaranteed Fake Out plus Quiver Dance, and they just weren't doing very much damage to us. And yeah, them going for Hyper Voice rather than, for example, Earth Power just meant that they weren't actually doing a ton of damage. So Ursaluna is obviously really scary, but when it doesn't have that normal Terra, it is not able to pick up knockouts as effectively, and them committing the Ghost Terra on Lilligant and us being able to take advantage of that in this game was huge. All right, we've got Rain here with Ursaluna Blood Moon and Hatterene. Okay, the first four, like very, very standard. I just featured a very strong tournament winning team with Loaded Dice Rillaboom paired with our Chaladon. It's one of the things we might have to respect here. How many physical attackers do they have? It's Basculegion and Rillaboom. So I think Frosmoth, Ninetales, I'm bringing out in this one. Rilla seems really good offensively here. So Rilla, Ninetales, Frosmoth. I think I'm down for Frosmoth, Rilla lead. Ninetales in the back. And then Garchomp I often like for our Chaladon because I can Stomping Tantrum. Volk is also not a terrible bring in the Rain matchup, which is kind of weird, but it can Struggle Bug, which is nice in here. I could actually go Volk 4th, I think, because Incin's not that good. I don't think Garchomp's actually that valuable either. I'm down for Volk 4th. I think leading Volk here also could make some sense, but Basculegion is a little bit scary. So with this, I pressure Grassy Glide immediately onto Basculegion. I pressure Fake Out. Set up terrain for Frosmoth as well, and we can start Quiver Dancing. I think if Basculegion is not led here and I get a Quiver Dance off on turn 1, I'll feel like I'm in really good shape. Since Basculegion is like the only real physical attacker that threatens us. Let's be our Chaladon Hatterene. Okay, that works for me. I am more than okay with this. Okay. So I don't mind just Quiver Dancing here. Turn 1, I'm actually thinking about just launching Woodhammer into Hatterene. I could see us switching out into Pelipper, so it'd be a ton of damage immediately. Yeah, I'm down. Ooh! Wow, even with Helping Hand, it still does not really actually do a ton to us, so I'll take it. Okay. Cool. That was cool, though. Confirms they're faster than our Rillaboom as well. So we took 106 with the Helping Hand. I can Grassy Glide, but you'll still get the Helping Hand off. I think this next turn I'm leaning towards Terroring the Frosmoth. So I survive like a Helping Hand Flash Cannon, get another Quiver Dance off. And then high horsepower into our Chaladon. Yeah, I'm down. Very cool play. Risky, because I could have just gone Fake Out onto our Chaladon and Quiver Dance on turn 1. But works out quite nicely for them. So here's the Water Terra. This obviously does mean that now I am weak to Electro Shot, but Electro Shot into a +2 special defense Frosmoth is not actually that scary. Oh, they're going to commit Terra here. Okay. Onto Arch? What are you tearing into? Huh? Okay. I mean, it survives. It helps against this turn, but now you're Ultra Blizzard weak. So, I'll take it. Helping Hand. I'm happy to just set up again. Okay. Let's see if it's Flash Cannon. Yep. Now we resist. 93 to 78. We took 15 health. Awesome. High horsepower is not going to do very much, but that's okay. I think this next turn, they should be switching the Pelipper in right now for the Hatterene slot. So I think I actually want to go for a third Quiver Dance. Yeah. Because, like, our Chaladon is just not really threatening us very much. And now that they've Terra'd, Blizzard is just going to obliterate it later. So I can Quiver Dance again right now. And go for Woodhammer into Hatterene. Yep. I was going to switch in Ninetales, but the way the speed order works is Rillaboom would switch out first because it's faster, then Pelipper switches in. And so the weather actually gets negated anyway. Now, by going for this, I have an 100% accurate Blizzard next turn. And I'm happy to Quiver Dance. It's like, yeah, you can Electroshot me, but I'm +3 special defense with my ability. Okay. There's Electroshot. That's fine. Let's see how much we take. You get +1 now. The main question is whether or not Pelipper has Wide Guard. 100 down to 53. Beautiful. And I Woodhammer here. Perfect. That's Sash on Pelly. Yep. I think the main question I have this next turn is, do I want to play around Wide Guard? Because I could go for Grassy Glide plus another Quiver Dance. But I think because switching in Ninetales shuts down Electroshot potential anyway, assuming you're Assault Vested, I'd rather just switch here. So I'm going to just Blizzard, bring in Ninetales. At this point, we've gotten two things really low with Rillaboom, and Frosmoth is at just so boosted up, and it's still, I think conserving Rillaboom is also nice because I want terrain control and for Frosmoth to continue to heal. So Pelipper makes the hard switch here, fine by me. Into Hatterene, yep. Okay. We will pivot out into Ninetales. So yes, they'll be able to change the weather, but for now, I just get a +3 Blizzard off, right? So Hatterene's definitely fainting. I think our Chaladon may faint as well, but we'll see. Super effective now. Frosmoth! Oh, let's go. Beautiful. Yeah, I think the Grass Tower was interesting. It, made sense to try to cover for high horsepower specifically that turn, and it did work out because I did high horsepower there, right? But in the end, it just makes you weak to Blizzard, and I'm more than happy with that. So Frosmoth here now, back at over 50%. You'll bring out Pelipper, and presumably, I would guess Basky Legion as their last one, and if that's the case, then we can just pivot Ninetales out. We don't really need Garchomp at this point in the game. Pelly, yep, it is Basky Legion. Okay. Fine by me. Actually, I mean, we do have Life Orb Freeze Dry here. I would guess that just KOs this if they KO. I mean, you lost Respects right now, presumably, right? And I've got Rilla in the back. It would just be a shame if Life Orb Freeze Dry didn't get the knockout. And it was Volk as the last one, sorry, not Garchomp. I should survive a Weather Ball on this anyway. So honestly, here, I think I'm down to click Terra Blast into Pelipper and Freeze Dry. No, I should still be switching out, I think. Yeah, I'll Terra Blast into you, switch into Volk. And I might lose both Pokemon this turn, but then it's okay because it's 2 free switch-ins into Rilla plus Ninetales. Presumably, I get Last Respected, though, right now onto Frosmoth. Oh, okay, Pelipper protects. That's fine. We are faster. But I wasn't going to knock out the Basket Legion anyway. Yeah, they lost Respects. Fine by me. Now I get a free switch in, back out into the Ninetales. And we can just finish the game off with that. Sweet. Yeah, I think that play was always pretty safe, right? There wasn't any downside really to going for it. Since we're faster than Pelly, if Pelly attacks, we just KO it. It's not like Blizzard or Freeze Dry would do much there, and now I reset the weather. No, this can't be Scarf, right? I guess it could be Scarf and Adaptability. But you can't knock out both Pokemon here, so I'm gonna just Freeze Dry you. Struggle Bug you. Pelipper goes for the double and gets it. Okay. It's the right play to go for. Oh, they are actually Scarf Adaptability. And Freeze Dry doesn't get the KO, but it freezes. I think Struggle Bug finishes it off anyway. That would make sense, because I was wondering why we were faster than the Basculegion, because Frosmoth is just such a slow Pokemon, because we don't have speed investment. Ooh, Basculegion actually hangs on from that. But it's fine. Even if we weren't frozen, or even if we didn't get the freeze, I would always just Rage Powder anyway. Yeah. So, Moonblast into you. Rage Powder. Okay. Yeah, they stay frozen. I don't think the freeze mattered here, though, in the long run. And I went for Moonblast here because Icy Wind can actually miss. So, might as well just take the guaranteed KO. I guess I could have gone for Triple Protect. But, yeah. Volcarona being so defensive and surviving was clutch. So, just Rage Powder Moonblast again. And we had Rillaboom as the last one, which obviously is a really effective closer with Grassy Glide into Pelipper and Basculegion. But the fact that Basque survived the Life Orb Freeze Dry, plus Pelipper getting the double protect off, definitely made things a bit more dramatic. And with it actually being Scarf Adaptability on the Basculegion. Yeah, just finish you off with Moonblast. Cool. So, good positioning with Basculegion. That was the main threat I was worried about coming into this matchup, and it was really scary in the end, but we had enough resources where, like, it just couldn't KO everything quickly enough, right? And so, yeah, the turn that I protected, if I stayed in with Ninetales, that could have been a Freeze Dry, which would have done a ton of damage. I think the switch there is fine, though, especially because we don't know if they're going to be Swift Swim or Adaptability, and if they are Swift Swim, being able to reset the weather is just such a big deal. Either way, I think the main question then is whether or not I should have gone for a Rage Powder with Volcarona rather than the Struggle Bug. The idea behind Struggle Bug was obviously to just finish off the Pelipper, but since, like, they could have launched that Last Respects into Ninetales. I'm curious whether or not that would have gotten the knockout since we would have had the Snow Defense buff. My guess is yeah, because, like, Volcarona barely survived, right? Ninetales is obviously way less bulky. So they had actually knocked us out. I would have gotten Struggle Bug off. Pelly would have gotten the double protect off. Then I bring out Rillaboom, and then Rillaboom can just Grassy Glide Basculegion. So I think we're still fine in that end game. But yeah, Basque definitely a scary Pokemon to deal with, and physical attackers in general into Frosmoth can be tough. Okay, we are up against Wolfglick's Weezing Toadscruel team. So it's Specs Weezing, which obviously can be a little bit scary. Garchomp, I think it was Life Orb, non-Revival Blessing Palmot, Stellar Terra. Typhlosion, just super offensive. Spore from Toadscruel is definitely a little bit scary, and they can obviously shut down weather, but Ninetales still does have Freeze Dry. I think Ninetales is very good. I'm thinking Ninetales Frosmoth here, because they don't have weather control, and if you lead Weezing, then I can just start Quiver Dancing on you. So these two. And I think I want Typhlosion switch-ins. Garchomp I think is good here. Might want a Corvancer. And so Volk here. I can also Rage Powder. There's a lot of spread moves on the opposing side, though. Yeah, I think I might go Instant here, because it's good into Typhlosion and Garchomp, and it's not clear Amulet Garchomp on the initial version of this team. So, let's see. I mean, I honestly wouldn't mind seeing Weezing Toadscruel here, because I can just, like, pop the Toadscruel with Freeze Dry immediately, and then Quiver Dance. Although, I guess the question is whether or not we knock out Toadscruel with a Freeze Dry. Let's see what they lead with. Yep. It is going to be that duo. Fine by me. I think my debate here is maybe I just pop Terra on Frosmoth immediately. It's also important to note that with neutralizing gas, my ability isn't actually active right now. I do have Icy Wind here, but I'm thinking of just going for Life Orb Freeze Dry. If I Water Terra, it does make me weak to Pawmot, right? Right now I'm vulnerable to Flamethrower. They might Sludge Bomb me. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna Freeze Dry here. It could be Icy Wind. Guard Chomp and Sin in the back. Okay, I'm gonna Terra, because I know you have Flamethrower. Alright, they're gonna Terra as well. Terra on Wheezing. Okay. Into Fire. Nice. That's why we Terra our Frosmoth. Okay. That's very good for us because now I can also just Terra Blast their Wheezing later on. So, happy to see that. Beautiful. Life Orb Freeze Dry. 4 times super effective into Toedscruel. Goodbye. Sweet. So Toedscruel's eliminated. Let's see if they target Ninetales or Frosmoth here. Flamethrower comes out. Okay, it's going to be out until Ninetales, so I could have saved Terra, but that's fine. I'm totally happy making this trade. I think the main scary thing here probably is Pawmot right now from my opponent's end. I am happy to bring out Incineroar right now. Okay. And it's Corv coming out. Alright, that works for me. Corv coming out I think is a very good sight because I can just go for Fake Out onto you and Quiver Dance again right now with Frosmoth. Suspects Wheezing, so really can't do anything in this current position. Probably has to switch out. If you stay in, totally fine. I'm happy to take advantage of that and happy to just continue getting speed boosts. Yep. I think this turn I also could have taken advantage of the fact that Wheezing has to switch and just attack that slot and doubled up into it. That may have been the better play, like Flare Blitz and Terra Blast it. But it's Typhlosion as the last one. Cool. The game is over, I think. I don't see an answer for my Frosmoth at this point, especially with them committing Fire Terra on turn 1. Because now I just Terra Blast the Typhlosion and then Terra Blast Wheezing as it comes out. Cool. Core flinches. I am happy to go for knockoff onto... I think Terra Blast should finish it off, but I'm down to double up into it. Okay, they just Shadow Ball us, but +2 special defense and our ability means I take 23 damage this turn. Gets a special defense drop, but that's fine. I get the Water Terra Blast, super effective in Typhlosion, and that's a one-hit knockout. Sweet. That's out of the way. Corv Tailwinds, but it's a little bit too late, I think, for my opponent. As we will remove your Citrus. Yep. Okay. Wheezing will come back out. So with Wheezing, it's interesting because I could Parting Shot into it. That special defense drop does scare me a little bit. Nah, I don't really think I need to be that scared, honestly. But I don't think there's that much downside to Parting Shot and Protect here. And even if... Oh, I don't have Protect. Never mind. Just kidding. Too used to having Protect on setup Pokemon. Yeah, then I'm happy just clicking Flare Blitz and Terra Blast. Okay, they Brave Bird into us. It actually does pretty meaningful damage there. And here's Sludge Bomb. Nice, we survive. Ooh, it does poison us though. Okay, that adds for a little bit of drama. Because I think I actually faint after the poison. Which is... Oh, but I have Leftovers recovery as well, right? Okay, either way, Wheezing faints here. I could theoretically actually lose against Corviknight. Especially with Mirror Armor bouncing my Flare Blitz back again. It doesn't have Citrus, though. Okay, yeah, that's so much damage. And I think after Leftovers, I survived the turn here anyway, right? Despite the poison. Yeah, 3 HP. Nice. If you Brave Bird, you just end up fainting. Yeah, I think it's actually fine to just Flare Blitz and Terra Blast here. Oh, they do have Protect. I didn't remember that Corviknight having Protect. So that could have been me switching out Ensign, but it's still fine. But yeah, the poison is mainly annoying since it means Frosmoth just goes down here, whereas without the poison, like, a turn of Tailwind is stalled out and I just go for the same Terra Blast plus Flare Blitz play. Because Garchomp Rockslide actually won't knock out the Corviknight right now. And Rockslide's really the only move I can go for onto it. Okay. They should have Roost, right? Roost, Tailwind. Is it Roost, Tailwind, Brave Bird, Protect? Garchomp can switch in now. The thing is, Corv just doesn't have enough damage, and it takes a lot of recoil between Brave Bird as well as, yeah, them not having Berry. So I'm happy to just Flare Blitz and Rock Slide. So it should be Roost here. You know, I actually could have gone Stomping Tantrum this turn to cover for that. But I think I want to condition them into thinking they're safe to go for that, and then go for a Stomping later. But yeah, Flare Blitz is still doing so much damage. And we get a burn. So, yeah, Corv just doesn't have enough offense to win this game, and we still have the Citrus available on Ensign as well. But now I'm going to click Stomping. I should have probably clicked Stomping this last turn. Actually, now Tailwind Peter's out, we should not click Stomping. Just go for Rock Slide again. Yeah. I think, let's see, the Special Defense drop made things spookier. Like, we ate a Special Defense drop, and we got poisoned, so, like, Frosmoth just wasn't able to hang on and fully sweep this game like I intended to, but it still got 2 critical knockouts onto Typhlosion as well as the Wheezing, and then being able to remove Corviknight's Berry was a really big deal. But yeah, in that end game, I could have switched Ensign out, which would have reset one of those attack drops that had been bounced back from the Mirror Armor, so Flare Blitz would do a little bit more damage. I could have gone Stomping Tantrum rather than Rock Slide, but I don't know. I think it's still fine to Rock Slide there. Like, we can risk missing, but I guess they had to always roost there, so stomping, like, while they're roosting would have made for a pretty cool clip. But either way, I think that game was locked up. And being able to just threaten the one-hit knockout onto the Toedscruel was a really big deal. So Life Orb, Freeze Dry, and being able to outspeed Toedscruel was huge. When that team was constructed, I think the meta actually kind of felt slow at the time, and so Toedscruel being able to outpace so many things and put things to sleep with Spore when Wheezing was out next to it was a big deal, but Alolan Ninetales being able to naturally outpace that duo was huge. Okay, we've got Sneasler, Rilla, Ursa, Dragonite, Basculegion, and Porygon. With 5 physical attackers, I wonder if Frosmoth is the right mon to bring here. It's still not bad, since honestly Blizzard is so good offensively. But I gotta worry about Scarf, Basculegion. Ensign is a must bring. Ninetales is a must bring. Wisp from Volk obviously is decent. I think Garchomp here we definitely want with Breaking Swipe. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is an example of a matchup where we probably drop Frosmoth, but I still kind of want to go for it, to be honest. It's mainly, like, I think dropping Rilla makes my Basculegion matchup a lot worse. So I could just go Instant Rilla, Garchomp, Ninetales. But I think I still want to bring Frosmoth. This is probably an example of a matchup that it's, like, not ideal in, but I think its damage output justifies it enough. I could bring Garchomp for Breaking Swipe. But I think bringing Rilla for Ursaluna and Basculegion is more important. So, let's see. I think the safer approach in this game is probably to drop Frosmoth and just go the bottom 4 Pokemon, Incineroar, Garchomp, Ninetales. But if Frosmoth can win against 5 physical attackers, I think that's a great sign. We have Intimidate, we have Snow, obviously. It's going to be Basculegion and Sneasler. Okay, so I get a quick Intimidate off. Problem is they can just fake out into Frosmoth turn 1. You can flip turn. White Herb. If you're a White Herb, are you going to carry Fake Out, I guess, is my main question then. Ghost Terra here. White Herb is quite scary. This is Intimidated, so this shouldn't really threaten me too much. It's mainly Sneasler. Okay, I think I'm going to Fake Out here and Quiver Dance. They do have Fake Out. I wasn't sure if they were going to run it with White Herb, because I think White Herb with a lot of offense makes sense. They flip turn out. Nice turn. That could have been me pivoting out into Rillaboom, because then I'd be able to Fake Out Sneasler the next turn. But I figured if I get a Quiver Dance off, Frosmoth is in pretty good shape. And White Herb, a really tough item to go up against because it has so much offensive pressure right now. I think the main thing is I didn't want to just switch and then have Sneasler like close combat me. Rillaboom comes out now. Okay, so now Rill obviously pressures with Fake Out. I think I might actually commit Ghost Terra this turn with Instant, a Parting Shot out. Because you can see Frosmoth is actually still quite solid offensively in this matchup. If I were my opponent, I'd probably double up on a Frosmoth with Fake Out and close combat right now. So the idea is Ghost Terra. I guess I could also risk not Ghost Terraing here, but I really don't want Instant to Fate to a close combat because I think Intimidate's too important in this matchup. So what I want to do is Ghost Terra, Parting Shot into you, and then switch in Ninetales. This way I can bring Frosmoth back in, and then the Sneasler will be at -1 attack, and then I can switch Instant back in, get you down to -2 attack. I think a lot about this game is trying to get that Quiver Dance up with the Frosmoth. But yeah, turn 1 could have been better already if I had gone for a Parting Shot onto Sneasler instead. Wow, they just Dire Claw on a Frosmoth. Nice call. And U-turn. Really excellent play by them. I guess Dire Claw makes sense, right? It covers for... I was hoping to see, what, like close combat or close combat into Instant. But they have played this spectacularly so far. Using the bait, the pressure of Fake Out, and not actually going for Fake Out. Yeah, honestly, this has just been very well executed by them. Because obviously at that turn, they were at risk of me just attacking. So I think they kind of hard read my switch. Which was very nicely done. Here, though, I will at least be able to Parting Shot, bring out the Frosmoth, and now Quiver Dance. The problem is the Fake Out cycling from them is also annoying. So if I can try to nail Rillaboom as it switches in and get a KO onto it, I think that would be huge. Because we also have Fake Out cycling on our end. Now Frosmoth. My guess now is... Let's see, if I bring out Rilla, you can flip turn... So I'm going to bring out Instant. I think this Sneasler here switches into Rillaboom, and I think Basculegion flip turns into Sneasler. But honestly, my opponent has been making really good predictions, so it's hard to say for sure. But I'm going to Quiver Dance here, and I'm going to Flare Blitz into Sneasler, expecting it to switch into Rilla. But nope, they just throw Chop. And it still KOs me because it crits. Oh, man. When it rains, it pours. That's a tough crit. I'm assuming they're flip turning here. I think I would survive Throw Chop plus... Oh, it's just Last Respects, actually. Okay, well, that doesn't do much. So they were probably doubling up onto Instant. I assume they would knock me out with that, but I'm not actually 100% sure. The problem is Snow is going to expire at some point. I have limited turns with Frosmoth. But yeah, every turn that I've tried to read my opponent, they are one step ahead. So props to them. Okay. I think the Pokemon we had actually in this matchup were fine though. Like I don't think it was a Pokemon issue. That crit was unfortunate, but I assume with double up KOs anyway. I really don't know though. This would be at -2 attack, and this is -1, presumably Choice Scarf with no knockouts taken yet. It'd be interesting to see. If Sneasler has Fake Out and Throw Chop, this thing does not have Protect. So I can Blizzard. Blizzard. And Woodhammer. Bask switches out, okay. This is a big turn for me, I think. Porygon comes out. Attack boost. Dire Claw into us. Oh man, that was such a big blizzard this turn. Oh, okay. That is unfortunate. I would have taken any other status condition. Man. Sneasler proving why it's one of the best Pokemon in the format. I'm probably getting Dire Clawed onto this now, right? I will just Blizzard Woodhammer again, though. Okay, Dire into Rilla. Can I stay asleep? Oh, I really think Frosmoth could have pulled this off, but a couple of tough turns for us. Really unfortunate. But I think my opponent also played spectacularly in this game, so I was kind of in a hole early on. Like the U-turn Dire Claw onto a Ninetales switch-in was really well done. The fake out turn 1 was really well done. But I don't think Frosmoth was the problem for us in this game. But it goes to show, right? Like, because my team relies pretty heavily on it, anything going wrong with Frosmoth can set me back pretty significantly. I think you just bring out Basculegion now, then you just Dire Claw Rilla. Lock into Last Respects. Instead of high horsepowering, I could have gone for... Or sorry, instead of Woodhammer, that could have been high horsepower into Sneasler as well, I guess. That may have been the move. But they bring out Rilla. I think Dire Claw still KOs me though, right? And it's also the last turn of Snow. So you just fake out this, Dire Claw this. And then Basculegion will win the end game. Oh, unless I get more Quiver Dances off, I guess. It's not gonna... This turn it's not gonna really do much though. Okay, if I survive a Dire Claw and I get this high horsepower off, we could still be in it. Yeah, but it's a KO at -2 even. Took too much recoil from the Woodhammers. Because if we knock out, then the Basculegion comes out and I just have Grassy Glide, right? Yeah, I needed like one more turn with this Frosmoth. I don't think I can win unless, like, I need to hit every Blizzard right now. I also need to just, like, freeze them, but I'm just going to Quiver Dance here instead of Blizzarding. Eating out the Dire Claw into sleep was unfortunate. Like, I think it would have been really interesting to see how this would have played out, because I think my opponent was playing super well, and I think Frosmoth was actually pretty well positioned despite being into such a physical team. I think Rilla, yeah, could have been high horsepower into Sneasler in this game. Garchomp wouldn't have been bad. I definitely wasn't expecting Fake Out and Throat Chop Whiter on the Sneasler. Sneasler actually pivots. I see, and then you're going to U-turn out, and then Sneasler can just Fake Out Last Respects, I assume. But yeah, with double Fake Out cycling and me not having Protect, you can just infinitely Fake Out cycle. Yeah, nicely done. U-turn's actually not that common on Rillaboom these days, because you run Fake Out Woodhammer, High Horsepower, Grassy Glide, so them having U-turn and Throat Chop and Whiter all added up to be big problems for us. It allowed for a lot more pivoting and a lot more damage, obviously, with them being able to Throat Chop my Instant and get that crit. So, yeah, I wish we had the opportunity to see Frosmoth land a couple attacks, but this was one of the examples of a game where things just don't really go your way, and that's okay. Now let Sneasers reset the attack drops. It's tough. You can just Fake Out Wave Crash now. So, I'm going to try to Blizzard, but... yeah. Sneasler having Whiter, normally I would expect, like, Protect triple offense attack. Instead it was Fake Out triple offense, which made things tougher. They led with Basculegion plus... I don't even think I would change my lead, to be honest. I think my turn 1 play, though, of Fake Outing the Sneasler was just risky. But I don't know. It's like in another world, I switch Instant out, or I attack, and then I just eat up a close combat and faint. So it's hard to, like, make a guaranteed correct call there. Yeah, I think Wave Crush just KOs me here, but let's see. They're still faster anyway with Scarf. Yeah, nicely done. You tried your best, Frosmoth, but you were too sleepy and went to sleep at the worst time possible. That getting Blizzard and Woodhammer off that turn would have been so huge for us, because I don't know how much +1 Blizzard would have done to Porygon and Sneasler. Like, the question is whether or not either hanging on, but either way, if Sneasler hangs on, I can just Grassy Glide finish it off next turn, and then Frosmoth can just Blizzard finish things off. Frosmoth's obviously really good into a Rillaboom, and then my Rillaboom can deal with the Basky Legion, so I think there's the potential for a 2v4 comeback there. But yeah, I think, once again, my opponent also played super well. Like, I feel like they made some really nice plays in the first couple turns in the game, getting the knockout onto Ninetales, not getting baited, and then being able to pivot Rilla back out as well with that U-turn. Like, Dire Claw U-turn onto the Frosmoth was just a really, really nice play by them. But yeah, would have been cool to see how it would have played out. But of course, Sneasler's really good for a reason, and being able to move before your opponent can move and click Dire Claw is a big deal in this format. We've got Goldengo, Gengar, Rilla, Dragonite, Ursa, and Volcarona. Dragonite, Ursaluna, Goldengo has been everywhere recently. It's been super strong. We can definitely expect Assault Vest often on the Ursaluna. Good number of special attackers. Water Terra is good for Frosmoth, but we have to worry about Rillaboom. Generally a decent matchup for Frosmoth, but Dragonite is going to be scary. Dragonite having Tailwind is very likely. Icy Wind Ninetales is intriguing. I can also Ghost Terra to get around a Fake Out. Volk Frosmoth is also intriguing to me here. Volk Frosmoth. I think we probably want to be... respect their Volk, so Garchomp's important. Ninetales. Part of me is thinking about leading Garchomp. I'm scared of Dragonite Volcarona lead specifically, I think, with this. Alright, if they go for it, they go for it. Incin, I think, could be an okay bring here, mainly as a resistance to Volk, and Fake Out and Dragonite. Intimidate for Dragonite. So, let's see what they opt for. I think the Volcarona being able to Quiver Dance is scary because they can match my Quiver Dances and they're naturally faster, but Garchomp should deal decently into it. It's going to be Volk Ursaluna. The thing is, a lot of Volcaronas are normally going to be Fairy Terra, so that's one of the other questions. But for now, I think turn 1 here, it's a pretty free Struggle Bug and Quiver Dance. Covert Cloak Volk would be my nightmare right now. Or I guess like offense Life Orb, you just overheat Frosmoth. The thing is, if I ever commit the Terra Bot into Frosmoth, I immediately become super vulnerable to Rillaboom's Grassy Glide if they have that in the back, so I don't want to just commit Terra turn 1 here. You move first and get the Struggle Bug off, which is awesome. Yawn Ursaluna now is probably my other concern. No Covert Cloak on Volk. Special attacks drop. Great, they just Heat Wave. It's decent damage into us, but it's fine. I will Quiver Dance up here. And with this, I should be able to survive even like a Blood Moon from Ursaluna. Cool, and they Blood Moon into Volk. Perfect. So while I take a lot of damage, I think that turn of setup is totally worth it for us, as it is actually Life Orb on Ursaluna as well. It's good to confirm. Okay. No Blood Moon this next turn, which is good. I've got Water Terra Blast handy to me now. It's just a question of whether or not they actually have Rillaboom in the back. I could see Ursaluna actually switching out. What is your Blizzard switch in? Goldengo? I think here I'm actually happy to just Heat Wave. There's a part of me that wants to Quiver Dance again, honestly. But I think they should probably be scared of my Quiver Dancing right now. Like, I could Struggle Bug Quiver Dance again. But getting the knockout on Volk here would be huge. So, okay, I'm going to Heat Wave, Water Terra, Terra Blast. They stay in, that's fine. Ideally here, they just don't protect either Pokemon. I think protecting is really risky when you've already seen my Struggle Bug Quiver Dance combo. So I think they want to play more offensively right now, and I want to take advantage of that. Sweet, no protect on Volk. Super effective. Water Terra Blast into the Volk. Almost KOs. Are you Citrus? No, perfect. And that's why we Heat Wave to cover for that. Oh, we can get a burn on Ursaluna. Okay. So Volk can be clutching getting burns outside of just Will-O-Wisp.
between Flame Body as well as Heat Wave. Just Hyper Voice. Volk even hangs on from that. Very nice. Okay. My main question now is whether or not you have Rillaboom, because if you don't, I think Frosmoth kind of just walks over in this game. You could bring out Dragonite right now, which would pressure Scale Shot, but I could just Rage Powder it away. It's Gengar coming out. I don't mind that. I don't see... I think they're probably trying to haze if they're bringing this out. I think I'm down for... Okay, they should be clicking haze here, in my opinion, right? I could Heat Wave Blizzard. Okay, I'm down for Heat Wave Blizzard. Yeah, there's haze. That makes sense. Heat Wave connects. Ooh, doesn't knock out Ursa. But we're just faster. Sweet. Blizzard just double KOs. Nice. Perfect. That probably should have been a Terra Blast rather than Blizzard. I think it was one of... Like, this was an example where I was like, oh, I have a button that can just win me the game. But the moves I clicked that turn were relatively inaccurate. It could have been Struggle Bug, Terra Blast instead, I think. But Ursaluna also could have protected there as Gengar hazes, for example. Dragonite's the last one. It's fine. They haven't Terra'd yet, so this game isn't 100% over, but I've got Will-O-Wisp here, so I'm happy to just click Will-O-Wisp into you and Blizzard. Actually, I think Will-O-Wisp Quiver Dance is better. Blizzard's probably better. I also could have gone Rage Powder. Terra's going to come out. Fairy Terra is my assumption. But Dragonite normally shouldn't be able to touch Alola Ninetales, so that should just win us the game. Oh, it's fine, Terra. Okay. So, not the Scale Shot set, most likely. But that's fine by me. Okay. They just Extreme Speed with Volk. Rocky Helmet breaks Multi-Scale. I get Quiver Dance off. Now I bring out Ninetales, 100% accurate Blizzard. Frosmoth clicks Blizzard. GG. Great. Yeah, Frosmoth was incredible for us here. They did not lead what I think was probably the biggest threat to us in that Dragonite, and it was able to just dish out so much damage for us in this game. So, now Ninetales comes out. But obviously being able to hit that Blizzard was pretty lucky. I think it probably should have been Terra Blast instead on the Ursaluna. It's more consistent. I thought Heat Wave might have knocked out. So, yeah. I'll let Frosmoth deliver the finishing blow here with Blizzard. Set up Aurora Veil. I think Frosmoth is faster than Dragonite here with the Quiver Dance. Oh, they're still faster. Okay. So Jolly max speed then? Does Advent outpace us? I don't think so. But yeah, we survived the Terra Blast. And Blizzard now. Single target, flying KOs. Beautiful. I'm wondering if they're Assault Vested. Normally with Flying Terra, you can run Choice Band, you can run Assault Vest, you can run Lumberry. You're not going to run the loaded dice nearly as much, obviously. It doesn't make sense on that kind of set. But yeah, I think Struggle Bug Volk was huge for us in this game. It was able to decrease my opponent's damage output, and turn one, them launching Blood Moon into Volk, us even surviving, and then the Frosmoth getting the Quiver Dance off just put us in a really good spot. And then turn two, we were able to just snipe off Volcarona. Ursaluna wasn't able to do a ton of damage to us, and then, like, you know, Haze is scary for this team, but they already took so much damage that even with getting the Haze off, we were still in fine shape. So, yeah. I do think, like, also, the turn they Haze, I could have switched it Ninetales and just clicked Blizzard. So that was another play to potentially consider that turn. But I figured Heat Wave is just such good guaranteed damage from that spot, and I thought it might have even knocked out Ursaluna. Okay, we've got Magmar, Rilla, Ninetales, King Gambit, Golden Go, Dragonite. 3 physical attackers and Rilla, Gambit, Dragonite. Garchomp with Scale Shot, or not Scale Shot, sorry. Ooh, I was gonna say Breaking Swipe's okay here, but Breaking Swiping into a not Golden Go. King Gambit's a complete disaster for us. If I were them, I would index on Gambit. Magmar lead looks really scary. How do I beat that? Garchomp forcing a Terra out. Frosmoth Quiver Dancing. I'm really worried about Gambit. Plus... Oh, I mean, I do have Heat Wave on this, and I can Rage Powder away as well. I'm actually thinking Volt Garchomp, because I think Frosmoth is way too weak into some of their lead options. But I could go Frosmoth Ninetales in the back. I think Rillo we definitely drop in this game. Everything basically resists grass damage. Instant we could Brain, but if I'm my opponent, I'm actually playing with King Gambit, and I think Instant is a bait, because then I just activate Defiant for them. And that's not good. I guess the thing is, even if we activate Defiant, Instant could still have value, because I can just Flare Blitz. And I can also knock off Magmar, so... It's not like an objectively bad pick here, but I like the offense that the other Pokemon offer. If I were my opponent, I would consider Magmar King Gambit lead, which is what I'm trying to beat with this lead. Yeah. Now, I don't have Earthquake, but they don't know that. So they should be worried about Earthquake. Earthquake Heat Wave, right? I've got Will-O-Wisp as well. We're also Fire Terra, so I can use that to get around Magmar dealing super effective damage. Or sorry, Will-O-Wisping us. It means not Terraing Frosmoth, but I actually think that's okay in this matchup. I might actually commit Terra turn 1 here just to become immune to this. Will-O-Wisp, Terra, Stomping. Okay. That's fine. I'm guessing Gambit's protecting, but I'd love to see Dark Terra Sucker Punch into Volk, and then I just Will-O-Wisp it. Anyway, this was the lead I was anticipating, so, like, being able to force them off just getting a free Swords Dance off to start is already big for us, in my opinion. And they do Terra, okay. Cool. Dark Terra. Could be Flying Terra as well. It is flying. Well, you know what? Frosmoth loves a good Flying Terra, so I don't mind that. That means you're probably Assault Vested. Rock Slide's also pretty good right now. Oh! Oh, they are still Swords Dance. That is such an unfortunate miss, but it happens. Okay. You know I have Will-O-Wisp now. Gotta be scared. I don't know if they have Terra Blast. It's probably still Sucker Punch plus Kowtow Cleave. I want a Will-O-Wisp switch in Ninetales right now. But I do have Rock Slide as well. I could see this protecting. But I don't know what Ninetales is really going to do right now. Maybe set up Aurora Veil. I will Will-O-Wisp and Stomping because I could see them switching back out into Magmar. Yeah, they do use Protect. That's such an unfortunate miss. They Encore me into Will-O-Wisp. I don't mind that, right? Where I mind it is if you have Disable as well. I think they might. Because otherwise, why would you make that play? How heavily do I read into Disable? Alright, if you have it, you have it. Rock Slide. Sucker. We survive. Nice. Rough Skin. Okay, no Disable. Well, I don't mind that then. If I burn your King Gambit, I think this is totally still worth it for me. Because then I get my Frosmoth in for free. And I pressure with Blizzard with it. Okay. It's just a shame because Garchomp would not have gone down. I think Garchomp was mainly brought into this matchup to deal with the Magmar. Magmar now actually becomes a fairly big threat because I committed Terra to Garchomp, so I can't Water Terra Blast Magmar anymore, which is scary. But it is a free switch in, and I think I'm going to go out into the Frosmoth here. They could Blizzard, Sucker Punch. You could also Kowtow Cleave. There's a part of me that wants to Quiver Dance right now. I'm still Encored for 1 turn. I actually don't hate staying in here. 2 turns of Snow. I am down to Will-O-Wisp U. Quiver Dance. Okay, Ninetales protects. Does Gambit protect? Wow, it doesn't. Okay. Still fine. With this Quiver Dance, this next turn I can go Rage Powder Blizzard. And since you're burnt, like a Kowtow Cleave with Snow up with the defense buff isn't that scary. They could Swords Dance again. Ah, they do. Alright, that's definitely scary. Encore ends. I obviously know you have Encore. I haven't revealed Rage Powder, so now we Rage Powder plus Blizzard. Ideally, they get greedy and just attack with King Gambit, but the right play here... Oh! They don't protect King Gambit. Okay, nice. They're probably trying to Encore me. Oh, okay. Sucker Punch and Encore. Nice. Huge turn for us. This should just be a double knockout now that we have the special attack boost. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, it was just a shame because I was like, I exactly predicted what my opponent was going to lead. And then turn 1, I think, was really good as well. We bait out Terra, we force Magmar out, get free damage on the Ninetales. But then the single Will-O-Wisp miss sets us back pretty significantly. And then they end up having Encore as well. Fortunately, like I was really worried they'd have Encore and Disable. That's just so rare to run on Alolan Ninetales. Magmar comes out. It's Golden Go. Okay. Then the question to me is this... What kind of Golden Go set is this? I've got Wide Guard, which is obviously helpful. Blizzard's not very good here. I'm worried about Power Gem from this right now. If you've got it. Specs Power Gem. I think here I don't mind going for... Oh, I can't Struggle Bug. Yeah, I can only Rage Powder. They also know I can only Rage Powder right now. And I'm Encored for 3 full turns, which doesn't feel great. So I think I'm going to switch in Ninetales here. Quiver Dance again. I mean, the scary thing is you get Make It Rain plus Overheat here, right? And I don't know if I have enough damage for Magmar now that Garchomp fainted so early on. Like, Garchomp was so good into my opponent's team, as you can see. Okay, that Make It Rain doesn't really do that much to Frosmoth, so that's okay. Probably going to be an Overheat as well. I could have Wide Guarded this turn, though. Let's see if it's Overheat or Heat Wave, because they might be locked into spread moves for their damage. Clear Smog. Oh, wow. Man, that's one heck of a tech. Okay. That is really cool. Well, I've got Wide Guard here. So I can Heat Wave. Wide Guard. Wow. Without Clear Smog, I feel like we were in fine shape because I get a powerful Blizzard. But yeah, they're going to click Make It Rain again. We're locked into that. If this is like Overheat Magmar, maybe Volk still wins in the long run. Did I miss Golden Go too? No, it's not Magmar. That's fine. Okay. It's Flamethrower. Okay, it doesn't do that much damage. I think we're still fine, right? I just Wide Guard Heat Wave. I survive Flamethrower. And then I Struggle Bug away. I could also Blizzard right now, but then I eat Make It Rain with this. This is at -1, so I should survive Make It Rain, but Make It Rain Flamethrower KOs me. Looks like... Yeah, I'm fine going Heat Wave here. Wide guard again. Okay. Yep. The Golden Go outsped my +1 Frosmoth, right? So I think it's Scarf Golden Go. Oh, I take so much damage from that. Oh my gosh. Man, that really sucks. I guess I wide guard Heat Wave again. I think Magmar beats me now in the long run, though. Man. Like, the Clear Smog tech was also huge, because without Clear Smog, like, Frosmoth just tanks up this damage in this end game. But, yeah. So, too many critical misses in this game. I could have wide guarded when I switched in Ninetales, maybe. Maybe we can still win the 1v1 against Magmar, but I don't think so. And they have Flamethrower rather than Heat Wave or Overheat, which is actually a big deal, too. If they had Heat Wave, obviously we just completely wall them, and if it's Overheat, then you decrease your special attack drastically, so each one does so much less damage, but Flamethrower is the perfect move for them to have. Just demoralizing to miss that, because if we had connected on Golden Go, then I get a Struggle Bug into you and a single target Blizzard. So, I'll Struggle Bug here. But you are going to miss your move sometimes with this team, right? So, it happens. Okay, Flamethrower comes out. How much does this do? 110 to 74. 110 to 74 is 36 damage. So then it's like, do I think 3 Heat Waves will KO, or do I go for another Struggle Bug? I'm going to Struggle Bug again. How much would the Heat Waves do? Flamethrower now, 74 to 47, 27 damage. So now it's 2, 27. I don't think 2 Heat Waves KO, so maybe I should have just been triple Heat Waving. It just didn't look like I was ever doing enough damage anyway. I'm gonna Struggle Bug again. Yeah, I'm just doing so little. Heat Wave basically does about double. It's probably right to be clicking Heat Wave anyway, but man, this is just one of those games where, yeah, sometimes the game does not want you to win. But I think, I don't know, I didn't know what kind of Golden Ghost set. It was like the fact they were Choice Scarf and they had Clear Smog, which was the absolute nightmare, and then obviously missing as well, because if we don't miss, then I Struggle Bug into a Terra Blast or Blizzard into your Magmar, which gets me a lot more damage, and I can rely on Heat Waves, right? I get an extra Struggle Bug off, which is a really big deal, because then the first Flamethrower you get into me is a lot weaker. So, yeah. And then I missed the Heat Wave on Magmar earlier as well, which would have been more free damage on it as well. So, yeah. Volcarona, you are going to miss your moves sometimes, and unfortunately, this was a game where everything just went wrong for us. But I thought Frosmoth was still really awesome for us, right? It got a double knockout for us, and then was able to wide guard super long as well. And I think we just connect on Will-O-Wisp on turn 1 into the King Gambit, or if we don't miss that Will-O-Wisp into Golden, or Heat Wave into Golden Go in the end, we're probably okay. And the fact they had Clear Smog as a tech on Magmar also changed things pretty dramatically in this matchup. Because without that, I think Frosmoth just doesn't take that much damage. It can keep Quiver Dancing and healing up with leftovers in front of them. Okay, we've got Garganackle, Sneasler, Golden Go, Ninetales, Solo Dozo, and Incineroar. I know Stefan Mott, who is one of the top VGC players in the US, has been using Garganackle, so I'm curious if that's the set here. Wide guard would be very annoying for Frosmoth. It's not a Frosmoth friendly game, to be honest. They have wide guard potential, multiple Blizzard resists. Garganackle, in my opinion, is a pretty big concern. I like Garchomp a lot in this one. I think I like I don't know. I just, like, really struggle to see how Frosmoth will work here, especially against Garganacl. So I'm leaning towards something like Instant Garchomp lead, real at Ninetales in the back. Ninetales mainly for Dozo. I can maybe set up a Aurora Veil with it as well. Yeah. I think Garganacl is just such a unique individual Pokemon that it scares away Frosmoth a good bit here. If I bring the Frosmoth, it's kind of... I guess what the Frosmoth could do is Water Terra and Terra Blast into Garganacl. But like Dozo here probably has Yawn as well, so it's kind of just a nightmare. Okay. This is where I wish we could Swords Dance. That'd be pretty sick. We got Stomping Tantrum. This might Terra immediately. I think removing Recovery from Dozo is good, so I kind of want to knock off into it. Okay, I'm down to Stomping Tantrum, Garganacl, knock off on Dozo. I could see a Ghost Terra potentially here, but... Oh, they are going to Terra. Is it Flying Terra Guard? It is. Well, it's interesting because Stomping fails, but now I get a stronger Stomping Tantrum next turn. So I actually don't even mind that too much, especially if I remove Dozo's berry or leftovers. Okay. Liquidation into us. It's fine. Defense drop is scary though. Up here, double up. Okay, that's fine. Alright. The team is fairly physical, so I feel like conserving Instant's probably going to be important. I have a stronger Stomping now into Dozo, so I want to go for this. Instant does feel pretty good against all of their remaining Pokemon. Ninetales' Freeze Dry Life Orb is going to be really good into Garganacl. They might Protect here, though. So I might actually take this opportunity to knock off Garg. Okay, they don't Protect. Boosted Stomping. Does a lot to Dozo, doesn't KO, but it's fine. We get rid of... Yeah, it is the Moringa Berry set. Okay. And now Dozo yawns. That's fine. So I'll Cure again. Double up into Garchomp. Okay. This next turn, you can obviously protect Dozo. Recover with Garganacl. I don't mind switching in Rilla here. Okay. Rilla. I'm just going to double switch here. I think they probably read this and go for Yawn. Let's see. Yeah, I think Yawn here is decently safe because you... Even if I stand in and knock you out, you still put me to sleep, and I think that trade's worth it for my opponent. Yeah, nicely done. Good play. And then recover. Ah, they go for the Stealth Rocks. That's cool. That is very cool. Okay. However, I do have Ninetales now positioned with Life Orb Freeze Dry. I do think I kind of want to switch out here. Switching Garchomp. I don't even think Life Orb Freeze Dry KOs Garganacl, so there's a part of me that wants to just stay in with Rillaboom here. I just don't think that's right. Okay, I'll switch in Garchomp here and go for the Freeze Dry. This is a very defensive duo to break through, though, honestly. Maybe Frosmoth would have been okay. Garg switches out, okay. Into Incin. It's fine. With this, I can go Ghost Terra Ninetales next turn, freeze dry the Dozo. Yawn again. Yeah. At some point, I have to send it, right? This would have been a great turn to have knocked out Dozo, but they've done a really good job playing around my pressure. I think I want to go for it. Stomping you, Terra, freeze dry. We'll see if they finally end up protecting with the Dondozo, because they've done a very good job of not protecting in the face of offensive threats. Okay, they don't protect. Cool. Fake out crits me. It's fine. Lightning freeze dry now into Dozo. That's a KO. It's just annoying because I didn't fully break out of the Yawn cycling. If I just landed a freeze dry into it earlier, the turn that Garg switched out, that would have been huge. And now Ninetales does fall asleep, and this is one of my better offensive tools into Garganackle. But I think Garganackle can't KO us quickly enough anyway, so eventually I'll wake up, right? And now I have Stomping Tantrum into Incin, and they clicked Fake Out into me as I Stomping Tantrum. So Stomping Tantrum this next turn is boosted in terms of damage output. I think you need to go into your final Pokemon right now if you're my opponent. If you bring Garg back in, the Stomping into Incin is just so strong, gets a KO. Yeah, I think if I wanted to bring Frosmoth into this game, I would have needed to burn my own Frosmoth to prevent it from falling asleep, and I just think that feels really bad. They actually do bring Garg in. Okay. Well, I'll take the free Stomping into Incin. They have no switching into that, so that's great. No switch in, and if I switch this out, I can get Fake Out cycling for next turn. So Stomping into you. Do I want to switch? There's a part of me that wants to just burn a sleep turn right now. I'm down. Because I think I can always protect Psycho and Fake Out anyway. Okay. So turn 1 to Sleep Burnt. Stomping comes out. KO's Incin. Beautiful. We're up 4-2 now. Sulcure and a Chomp. That's fine. Grassy Terrain, I think, is actually a really big deal right now because it heals back some of this chip damage that they keep getting onto us. So let's see what the final Pokemon is. I do think this is a really innovative Garganackle set, right? Like, Stealth Rock, not a common move in BGC, but you have to switch so much against this combo. It's going to be Sneasler as their last one. Okay. It's fine by me. Last turn of Snow and Grassy Terrain. I would like to pivot in Incin right now. Get that Intimidate off. And then if we get the ice, if we like wake up and get Icy Wind off, it's probably game winning on the spot because it breaks Sneasler's Sash. And I outpace then with the rest of my team. But I have to be very careful because Garganackle has the ability to just beat my team, right? Oh, I guess Intimidate doesn't activate since I faint from the rocks immediately. Well, that's kind of awkward. It's fine. Little Dire Claw. Okay. Nice. Ninetales wakes up. Icy One comes out. Sweet. I think with that we just win, because Garchomp comes out now, I just Stomping Tantrum, Sneasler, Freeze Dry Guard. Sulcure into us. That's actually pretty meaningful damage. Snow stops. Freeze Dry should just KO Guard though, right? 68 down to 50. So I can bring out the Garchomp, Stomping should KO Sneasler. You have the speed drop. I could pivot Ninetales into Rilla. Reset the snow. I don't think I need the snow reset though, to be honest. I think Freeze Dry should KO. I think we can just Stomping and Freeze Dry right now. Yeah, I don't see how they stop this. Garg is Salt Cure. Recover, Wide Guard, Protect would be my guess. But that's why I went for Icy Wind, because I wasn't sure if Life Orb Freeze Dry KOs Garg, and with the speed drop, when breaking Sneasler's Sash and allowing Garchomp to outpace here is huge. But yeah, this game was kind of nightmare fuel for the Frosmoth. I think the pressure of Yawn and Salt Cure, you know, obviously pretty unique combo, but it's really scary. Anyway, here's Life Orb Freeze Dry. Garg does hang on, okay. I maybe needed to double up there? Because I assume they recover now, right? Oh my gosh. Do I faint from 36 to 18? So I can set up grassy terrain for you. Bring out Rilla. Freeze Dry again. Oh. Well, that had some drama. Breaking Swipe there would have been better. We would have gotten the knockout. Because, like, I don't have to worry about Sneasler's damage output, but I wanted to cover for Garganacl protecting and Sneasler attacking. Yeah, now you protect. Okay. That's fine. Freeze Drying to protect. This is the creativity of Stealth Rocks as well, right? If Stealth Rocks weren't up, then I'd have to switch out, but... Do I have Fame from Salt Cure here still, actually? I don't. Okay, yeah. It does the same amount each turn, right? Their win con is a double protect right now. It's still fine, but I think the right play was maybe actually switch Rilla out so I get a third fake out. But I have Rock Slide and Wood Hammer. You can't, if you Wide Guard, you just take Wood Hammer damage. So I think it's still okay, but I think the unfortunate thing is I heal exactly 1 HP less, and then I faint from Salt Cure. So if we had like just 1 more HP, that would have been huge. Yeah, I could have made this easier for myself if I went Breaking Swipe that turn with Freeze Dry. I thought Life Orb Freeze Dry would definitely just get the knockout, so alright. Well, now it's single target Rock Slide, which is super effective, and Wood Hammer. So I honestly think we still knock out Garg, but let's see. I could miss Rock Slide, but I think we go for it for sure over Breaking Swipe. Okay, yeah, we should be good. Just add a little drama to this endgame. But yeah, we conserved our HP well enough that it was fine in the end. But I think if this is a good example of a match that you don't want to bring Frosmoth into, because first of all, there are multiple physical attackers. Dozo was unaware as well, right? So Quiver Dancing in front of it doesn't do anything. Like solo Dozo is just so bad for Frosmoth because it resists Blizzard and Water Terra Blast. And then you had Garganacl, which can Salt Cure us as well. Like, I think if we brought Frosmoth in this game, it would have just been throwing the matchup. And so sometimes you need to decide to leave it home, and this was a perfect example. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. So thanks so much as always for joining me. I hope I've opened your eyes to the potential of Frosmoth in this format. And it's so cool that even months into Regulation H, people are discovering ways to make Pokemon work and work really effectively. This isn't just a meme team. This team, of course, got top 20 at the end of the previous ranked season. And Frosmoth was definitely the MVP of so many of these matches. So thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll see you all soon. All right, peace.